at Swope, and I worked with Shyam, Kannan, Camden, Sprouse, and Layton, and we took a look into the data of Iowa liquor sales. So a little bit of a brief overview. Our project in Stat 220, we analyzed the liquor sales in Iowa. The Iowa liquor sales data set, it's a weekly record of sales made by licensed alcohol retailers in Iowa. This data has 24 variables and it had a total of 4 million observations, so it was a rather big data set. And we obtained the data from Kaggle.com, and it was compiled by Alexi Billiger. All right, so a little bit of what we were looking for. We narrowed it down to counties, and we took some of the most populated counties in Iowa and wanted to see if having a college in the town had an impact on the liquor sales in that specific county. We also looked at what's the most common bought alcohol, what factors cause consumers to buy a specific type of alcohol, and what county sells the most alcohol.
So before we answered our research question, we wanted to play around with our data a little bit. The data was quite large. It was 3.5 gigabytes from Kaggle, so it took a while to load into RStudio. Once we got into RStudio, we found some issues that there were some duplicate or overlapping names from counties or cities. For example, there was sales from Story County lowercase and Story County uppercase. Another issue we found were some ugly variable names with 1 dot or 2 dots that we had to figure out. Once we got all those issues figured out, we made a graph for the best-selling whiskey that week. And as you can see, it was Jim Beam.
So our next step in the process was to clean our data. We dropped variables we weren't using, and then we went on to rename them because, as we said earlier, they all had weird names or weird periods in them. After we dropped them, we only had 9 variables left, and then here you can have a look at our data dictionary. After that, we used levels to check all the variables to see where all the duplicates were or where all the different kinds of categories were. And then we grouped those together, and then along with the alcohol, we categorized the alcohol with all the different brand names into these different categories. And then after that, we exported it to a clean CSV to further explore our project. So next we made some graphs to really explore our research a little more. As stated in the research abstract, we wanted to find the county with the highest sales. So we made a bar graph that shows the amount of bottle sales in each of the 5 counties. And you can see here that Polk County has the highest sales. This is unsurprising because they have the highest population of all the counties. And then if we go ahead and take a look at the population in each county, you can see that kind of correlates with the bottle sales. Next, we wanted to look at the performance of different types of alcohol in each county. So we broke it up and showed the different kinds of alcohol sales in each county, and it's clear that vodka is the highest. And in Polk County, they have the highest bottle sales for every single alcohol type. Lastly, we wanted to look at a bar graph that shows all the different bottle sales just to be sure that vodka was the most. And again, you can see that it ranks at the top.
So we wanted to see how price-sensitive alcohol sales were in Iowa. So we decided to run a simple linear regression on price versus sales in Iowa. For this graph right here, we just used vodka sales because we wanted it to run faster, since again, the data set is still large even after filtering, so it took a while for some of these graphs to run. But as you can see here, the graph is implying that as the price is lower, the sales go higher, which makes sense. Consumers are probably more attracted to cheaper options. So then we decided to run another graph on all types of alcohol. And as you can see, this trend holds true for all types of alcohol except schnapps, which may be just an outlier. But overall, it implies that lower the price, the higher the sales. So then we decided to look at the average price for all types of alcohol. And as you can see, vodka has the second lowest price, schnapps being the first. This is very interesting given that vodka has the highest sales, as we stated earlier. So perhaps its low price point, or its average low price point, is a compelling factor to many citizens of Iowa to make it a favorable drink for them. We decided to run some cart trees on this data set. A cart tree is basically a decision tree. So if X is equal to A, then Y is equal to B. Else, Y is equal to C. We'll show a more physical representation of it when I talk about one of the first cart trees that I ran. One of the first cart trees that we did run was price versus category. We wanted to see if there was a specific price point that Iowans bought another liquor that was not vodka. And as you can see here, there were some price points where they preferred a whiskey or liqueur, but for the most part, it seems that at lower price points, vodka was preferred, which kind of lines up with the data that we found in the previous on our previous graphs. The next cart tree that we ran was item versus county. And that showed that Hawkeye was preferred at lower price points. It's interesting, if you manipulate the code a little bit to prevent overfitting, Hawkeye just shows up at just one square, which basically means that it's kind of the cheaper vodka, and that's what Iowans prefer, because as we found earlier, cheaper vodka leads to higher sales. So, yeah.
So in conclusion, Polk County had the highest alcohol sales. The larger the population, the more bottles were sold. Vodka is the most popular alcoholic beverage by a large margin across all the counties. The presence of a large university had a minimal effect on the drink percentage preference of the county. The 5 counties had similar sales for every category of alcoholic beverage. Retail price has an inverse relationship with bottles sold. And vodka has the second lowest average retail price, implying that the affordability may be the reason why it has such a high success in Iowa and why it's the most popular beverage. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.